welcome from the Car HMI USA. My name is Maria and I'm standing here with Peter from beyondHMI. Hi, and thank you for taking this time for our quick little chat.
It's absolutely my pleasure.
Wonderful. The Car HMI puts the spotlight on automotive user experience and HMI features. So if you can have a drive in any car you want with any features and so on, what car would it be?
Well, if it's really a free choice, it's a
Yeah.
totally open choice, it would be my Harley-Davidson motorcycle without any electronics, without anything on that.
Really?
Bringing me down to the core driving experience, giving me the feeling of freedom, of total control of everything. But understanding your question in the right way, I think it would be one of these real high-tech cars with a high connectivity. First of all, because I like to play around with this, because I'm a playing guy, but also from a professional point of view, checking everything out. So the rental car I'm having at the moment has an Android Auto, so I played around with that one, setting that one up. I had a drive with a level 2 Mercedes a few weeks ago, which was a totally unique experience that I had. And so I think, yeah, there are various things that need to be tested, analyzed, judged, commented on, and those are the things I really like to do.
And your company beyondHMI provides experience and HMI knowledge to the OEMs or the suppliers, tier ones. And what are the most innovative features that we had in the, let's say, last 20 years and in the current weeks?
So if we talk about 20 years ago, we had a super buzz on everything connected to telematics. Yeah. Telematics was supposed to be $1 billion, euros, German marks business after a very short time frame. We had politicians talking about this. We had the entire industry being totally excited about exactly that. And at the end of the day, there was nothing.
Okay.
I mean, startup companies showed up and private companies needed to talk to public instances, OEMs needed to talk to small startups, and all this did not happen.
Okay.
So, and over those years then we found out that we need to make our homework in hardware, in services, in in-car things, lifting things on a quality level to the right level. And so we had a time which was extremely technology driven. And so we ended up with a lot of technology and we try to find use cases for it. And so this was the disappointing thing over the past, let's say, 15 years that I experienced. Of course, there were bigger screens and more colors and new features, and then connectivity came out. We were able to integrate our telephones into the cars and then had Bluetooth, which, by the way, is one of the very few global standards over various industries that we actually have to have connectivity. But the latest tendencies that we have this case mantra, connectivity, autonomous driving, shared driving, and electric driving. This will wake up the entire industry because there are suddenly disruptive changes visible, and there will be new features, there will be new use cases, there will be new user groups. This will disrupt the entire industry, and it's super exciting times. I mean, 5 years ago I would have said it's over, you know, I'm gonna find me something new if I want to do some innovative stuff. But today the automotive industry for me is something where I really like to kick asses of people and move them forward and lift them to the next level. And this is not on detailed concrete features, but it's on the entire change that we have at the moment and on the entire situation, which gives us the chance to lift not only cars, but mobility, cities, urban areas, and also the entire society to a new level.
So it's like the whole concept of, like you said, mobility and the environment issues that we have, but also like the whole society that is growing older, but also growing with all the people that are coming, the new people that are the digital natives and so on and so on. So of course you have to mix all that into one experience so that the automotive industry, like the OEMs, tier ones, and the startups have to start talking to each other more or less.
Right. I mean, and today we know how to do this. I mean, this is the big change to 20 years ago when nobody really had a clue on how to talk to each other. We can do this today. It's no problem. There we have a change in the culture of communication. And yeah, we need to merge all this one, and we have all these super exciting megatrends. Some of them are a bit scary, like aging society.
Yeah.
On the other hand, why not? I mean, we are able to cope with that. On the other hand, we have urbanization,
Yeah.
which I see as one of the mega trends. More people in smaller places, people crunch into something, and this has consequences because we will need different kinds of mobility, different modes of mobility. We have to think cars in a different way, because if we still have 2-point-something cars per person in highly urbanized areas, we're going to be dead.
Yeah, stuffed with cars and vehicles everywhere, more or less. The old ones,
mobility
the
will
new
turn
ones.
into immobility.
Yes.
You know? Yeah.
And you're presenting a workshop tomorrow about featuring the 25th hour. So what does that mean, 25th? Where does it come from?
I mean, I've stolen that from my colleagues from Ingolstadt.
Okay.
They invented that. And I really like the expression because it shows you that you gain something extra, which is this 25th hour. And the most valuable thing we have in life is time.
Yeah.
I mean, you can lose everything in life, right? You can lose your health, you can lose your family, you can use everything, but you can regain everything. You have the time. The only thing you cannot regain is time.
Yeah.
Once a second is gone, a second is gone. And from this perspective, the idea that instead of sitting in a traffic jam and wasting time, I mean, the human brain is definitely not made to sit in a car in a traffic jam and to drive every few minutes, a few meters ahead. But we are meant to do different things. And with autonomy level 3, partially, level 4 even more, but on level 5, we will gain this time. We will have more time that we can use in a useful way. And what I will do with my participants in the workshop is a highly spiritual, unusual meditation standpoint based way on working on the future and finding out what are the next steps, what are the things that will come up, and how can we not really predict the future, but how can we shape the future?
Yeah. So that is really like in a train, that you get the time back, and do something productive, even if it's just staring out of the window and resetting your brain, more or less.
Yes, but the questions, I mean, people like to work on trains, and one of the reasons why people choose trains is the time they get and the opportunity to connect to the Wi-Fi and to do things. And but I have the feeling that there is more if we have a more personalized pod we sit in. So we sit in this mobile bubble, and we have this barrier between us and the outside. And the question always is, what does this bubble, what does this barrier do with us, and how can we profit from that? How can we benefit from the situation on being in there, about being able to connect and to connect within the bubble and with instances outside?
Okay, and we're talking about it's like high-level HMI features and human interaction with machines and cars in particular. So. What does existing knowledge, research, and of course science show us about this human cognitive behavior that you talked about? So,
I mean, I think in human cognition and human brains there is no new trends.
Okay.
We have exactly the same amount of neurons and wired in a certain way since, let's say, 10,000, 15,000 years. There hasn't been too much change in that lately, and lately means a few thousand years. So we're still hunters and collectors, and we're still using exactly the same structure we used 10,000 years ago to hunt animals somewhere in the grasslands of Africa, that we use it today to drive 250 kilometers per hour on German autobahns.
Yes.
So, which on one side shows the flexibility the structure has, on the other side it shows or indicates that we may have limitations in the use of that. And at the end of the day, we still love to sit around a campfire with people we love and exchange stories and talk about different experiences we had. And, you know, storytelling is something people really, really love to do. And bringing them back to that point, creating, let's say, a virtual campfire in an autonomous vehicle, that is one of the visions that I have for the industry.
And does this vision change or differs from a shared autonomous vehicle to an owned autonomous vehicle, or would the experience be the same or the vision be the same? I mean, do we own cars in, let's say, 50
No,
years?
we will not own cars in the future. We will own mobility, and I have a place in Berlin, and when I travel there, I do not bring my car with me because it's totally useless to have a private car in Berlin.
No.
So I have public transport, and I have these car sharing apps, and I have bicycle sharing, and I have scooter sharing. So I have all these sharing things, and so I create my own personal mix of mobility. And one very close step that we have, one of the next steps will be that we have all this under one HMI, under one user experience, so that we do not have different apps with different accounts and different HMIs and different ways of approaching my vehicle. But that is pretty close, and I can foresee this for the entire mobility in the future. So private ownership will be just like
a hobby
private ownership of a horse today.
Yeah, like a hobby. Yeah. And then you go there to a drive track. Do your thing, and then
you put your car into a trailer of a shared car. You drive up to a racetrack, and you pull it out, and then you drive for a few hours, and
be happy, and then
you waste a couple of gasoline, and
okay.
So that's what I can foresee.
So this mobility concept you're talking about would be like a big Google or a big Amazon for mobility, more or less, in some ways. Like with all that you have everything in one, and can exit is from the United States, from Germany, from Asia, and in the rural areas, and of course in the cities, and if it's a scooter or a train or a bus or whatever.
It will be fully networked, it will be fully global, and I mean, this is not a real vision. I was at Shanghai, and I wanted to try one of these mobikes, and it was not possible, these sharing bicycles.
Okay.
It was not possible because they asked for a Chinese bank account in the background. And then I went to Berlin and found out, hey, here are mobikes. And then there must be an app and a way with a German credit card to pay it. And I installed everything, made an account, and I traveled back to Shanghai, and I could use the Shanghai bikes with the app from Germany.
Okay.
Which totally surprised me, but was a super positive user experience that I had in that particular case. And I can foresee this for any mode of transportation that we have, and this will give us a super high flexibility. I mean, if I travel from A to B, I can make a choice. Will I have a car? Will I have a self-driving car? Will I have an autonomous car? Will I take a train or an airplane? And I can do this. I can decide this on the fly while I'm really on my way from A to B.
Yeah, and if you feel like a scooter today, then you take a scooter and not the car.
Right,
Nice.
And if you feel like a little exercise before dinner, then you take a bicycle to the dinner table. Yeah.
Wonderful. That is really something I'm looking forward to. Thank you for this quick chat, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
I will. Thanks a lot for your time.